Good afternoon. Am I audible? Okay. So let us start with the Verbal 2018 paper. I have given you the rights. In 2018, that this was the main paper, and then there was a retest as well. So today we are solving the main paper, and the retest paper we will solve it on some other day. In all, in this paper, there were total of 26 questions. 26 questions in 1 hour. Okay. So time is 1:35 right now. Please start. There is disturbance. Okay. Time is 1:35 right now. Please start. 2:35. We will start the discussion of these 26 questions. Okay. Please start. Okay. I think there is sufficient time. Let us start. Are we done? Okay. So let us start. Um, Question number one, two, three. Now, in comparison to 2019, I think the 2018 paper was easier. This passage, what does it tell you? It tells you, what does it tell you? It tells you that I mean, if you think you can use history to predict the future, you are wrong. Okay, you cannot predict the future through history. But then the question is, if you cannot predict the future through history, then why study history? Okay, what is the point of history? Excuse me. He tells us that in the sciences, what we like to do is that we always like to forecast. We like to forecast things. Okay. Similarly, historians also are asked to examine the actions of the ancestors so that we can repeat the wise decisions and we can avoid the mistakes. But it never works. But it does not. But history does not work like this. Okay. History does not work like this. Why it does not work like this? Because the present is just too different from the past. And that is why it is going to be a waste of time. What was applicable in the past may not be applicable today. So then he tells you science is not just about predicting the future. Okay? Science, what it does, science also seeks to broaden our horizons. It opens before us new and unknown futures. And the same thing is also done by history. Just like science is not just about predicting the future, science broadens our horizon. It opens before us new and unknown futures. The same thing happens with history. Even though through history people try to give a prophecy, they try to predict things, but in reality, what actually happens is that we study history not in order to repeat it, but to be liberated from it. What does he mean by this? We want to be liberated by it. We actually, all of us, if you see, we are born into a given historical reality. Okay, there are some norms and values that we have learned. We live in an economic and political system. All this is history for us, and we take all this for granted. Now, what the study of history does is that it actually makes us see other things. If you only look at history, if you only look at history from the angle of trying to learn something from the past, then remember that the cold hand of the past, what will it do? The cold hand of the past will emerge from the grave of our ancestors. It will grip you by the neck and it will direct your gaze towards a single future. So if you believe that through history you can predict the future or you are going to live the future according to your study of history, then remember your gaze is going to be very single. Okay, but but we will have to try to shake ourselves free. We'll have to shake ourselves free from the foundations of history. We will have to envision alternative futures. And this is what history does. History loosens the grip of the past. It enables us to head this way and that, and to notice possibilities which our ancestors could not imagine or did not want us to imagine. So, what history does is it opens up the doors rather than looking at things like in a singularity. Okay, past में ऐसा हुआ तो future में भी ऐसा ही होगा. Rather than looking at it like looking at it in the sense of a single line or in a single direction, we can look for other other aspects also. That is what history teaches us. So through history we can see that okay, this is something which our ancestors did. Let's not do this. Why can't we do it in this way? Why can't we do it in the way of A or B or C? Why do we always have to do it like X? So he tells you, studying history will not tell us what to choose, but at least it will give you more options. You will have more options. You will see that there are so many things that are possible. So very very simple passage. I think all the questions in this paper, that 2018, all the questions were doable. Okay. Question number one. Based on the passage, which of the following options would be the most appropriate for citizens to learn history? If you want your citizens to learn history, then what is going to be the most appropriate? If you want people to learn the history, okay, number C will not work, Damini. If the British names are changed, if you change the names, then how will the person who is reading the names, how will he come to know the history? So don't change anything. Let everything remain the same. Or even if you change, then you make a note of it. So answer should be B. Every street in India should display a plaque that lists all its previous names so that you are aware of the history. Okay, it should be B. Now you understand why it's not C? Because the moment you change it and you don't give and people don't know about the original name, then they will not understand. They will not be able to learn history. Question number two. Which of the following options is the closest to the essence of the passage? What is he trying to prove to you? Yes, he's trying to prove to you that history has the potential to make us eclectic. It gives us more options. It broadens our horizons. This is what he's trying to prove. Absolutely. Very, very good. If you have any issues, please stop me, okay? Number three, read the following sentences. There are four sentences. Which of the statements, if true, would contradict the view of the author? I think if number one happens, you will contradict the author. If after, if after, if after, after paying attention to events of the last century, that means history, you can successfully make a prediction, then what happens? You have contradicted. The same thing happens with four. If this tribe, based on history, based on how the ancestors behaved in the past outbreaks, if they can make a prediction, so you have used history to make a prediction. This is something which is absolutely opposite to what he's trying to say. So one and four, both, yes, I think D should be the answer for this question. Now in number two and number three, in number two, you are not making use of history at all. You are just using the latest technology. There is no history involved. Okay? So it is not contradicting. Anshita. In number three, in number three, if a student is using the past 10 years questions, that means he is making use of history or past events, but he failed. In number three, even though he's making use of the past events, but he failed. So if you make use of past events and you fail, this is what the author is trying to prove. He's trying to say that it's not going to work. Whereas in one and four, you have made a prediction based, you have taken help of the past events and you have succeeded. So if you take help of past events and you make a prediction and you succeed, this is going to be contrary to what he said in the passage. And that is why 1 and 4. That is why 1 and 4, they are going to be the answers. Okay? Okay. Now coming to the next passage, question 4 to 7. Now question 4 to 7, he's trying to tell you what is the difference between a belief and a doubt. Okay. Now he starts by telling us about René Descartes, and he tells us that according to René Descartes, ideas may be held true with certainty if they are clear and they are distinct. So what kind of ideas are true? According to Descartes, those ideas are true in which you have clarity. If you have clarity about your idea, that idea is true. Now, this assertion has been used by Peirce. Peirce has used it in order to form his own theory. Okay. Now he tells us the main argument of Peirce is that Peirce argues that thought needs more than a sense of clarity. Okay. So according to him, just because you are clear about something, that does not mean it is an idea, because there is more than clarity that is required. Okay. We need a method for making ideas clear. It's not sufficient to say that ideas should be clear. The question is, how will we make the ideas clear? Because once we have made an idea clear, then we can try to find out whether it is true or not true. So, first of all, idea has to be clear. Only when the idea is clear, then we'll be able to find out whether it is true or not true. So, an idea may be clear in our mind, but it may be false. An idea may be clear in my mind, but it may be true. Okay? And Pearson's method is called the pragmatic method. Okay, pragmatic method. Now, what is Peirce trying to say? According to Peirce, there are two kinds of thoughts. We have two kinds of thoughts. We either believe in something or we doubt something. Okay. What are the kinds of thoughts we have? We either have beliefs in something or we have doubts. Now, what is the interaction between beliefs and doubts? He tells us. He tells us that beliefs and doubts, they are actually distinct. Because beliefs are states of mind in which we would make a statement. We will say that yes, this is what happens. Whereas doubts are states in which we would ask a question. So when we make a statement about something, we show our belief. When we ask a question, we show our doubts. So we experience doubt as a sense of uneasiness and hesitation. So if we are uneasy about something, we hesitate about something, that means we are experiencing doubt. And doubt, because doubt is an irritant, doubt irritates us. So we would like to find an answer to our doubt. We would like to find an answer to our question. Okay, and thereby we fix a belief and put the mind to rest on that issue. So what does belief do? Whenever we have a doubt in our mind, then belief, it appeases the doubt. Belief helps us in answering the question raised by the doubt. He gives you an example. An example is of a doubt you would have when you arrive in an unfamiliar city. You are not sure about the location of your destination address. So how do you overcome this doubt? You have a question. If there's a doubt in your mind, you have a question. Okay. So how do you overcome this doubt? You fix the belief by getting the directions. You get direction. You know that okay, this is you believe that the point number A is where I have to reach. Once you achieve a belief, you can take the necessary action to reach your destination. So, what exactly is belief? Belief is nothing. Belief is something which we are aware and which appeases the doubt. Our belief is something which helps us overcome doubt or answer doubt. And very important, it tells us in another way, if you see, belief is nothing but a rule of action. Belief is nothing but a rule of action. So if you have a doubt, अगर किसी चीज पर doubt है, if you have a doubt over something, you have a question on your mind, so you will try to answer this question. You will try to answer this question. How will you try to answer the question? You will take an action. Your action actually shows us what is your belief. So belief is manifested in action. Belief is a rule of action. This is important. Belief is a rule of action. How do we come to know what is your belief? The way you act, the way you behave. The entire purpose of thought consists in overcoming a doubt and attaining a belief. Okay. So we overcome a doubt, we attain a belief. And how do we come to know what is our belief? Through the action that we take. Now, many people think that, okay, we just need to think about things. We just need to argue about things. We just need to discuss things. We don't need to act. We will come to know about the reality if we just have a discussion. Okay, no action is required. But according to the author, a person who believes that only through discussion and arguments you can understand what is a belief and doubt, you are actually showing dilettantism. This is just dilettantism. That means you are actually not very serious. You are not very serious. You are just kind of, trying to answer something through guesswork. There is nothing serious that you are doing, because it's very very certain that the beliefs that we hold, that determines how we will act. Our beliefs will be manifested in our actions. So if we believe, our belief may be right or wrong, that is another matter. Whether our belief is right or wrong, that is another matter. But our belief is how we act. So if we believe that the building that we are trying to reach is one block to our north, and what we will do? We will walk in that direction. Okay? We will walk in that direction. So it is not just belief. Belief can be about so many things. Belief can be about real objects in front of us. It can be about ideas. It can be about anything. Okay? We may have beliefs about science, politics, economics, everything. Yes, our beliefs can be false. Our beliefs can be false. But whenever we believe something, we actually think that it is true. Even though it may be false, but we think it is true. And how do you come to know about a person's belief? It is through the actions. This is what he's trying to say. Even though the message is pretty simple, he has written it in a very convoluted way. But otherwise, message is pretty simple. What he's trying to say. Anything you did not understand, this is the crux of what he's trying to say. Based on this question number 4, he says, according to Pierce, for a particular thought, which of the following statements will be correct? Which of the following statements will be correct? I think answer should be E. A doubt may lead to a belief. You cannot be 100% certain. How do we try to answer the doubt? We try to answer the doubt. We try to appease it. We try to appease it through a belief. We actually act. There's an action we perform to finish this doubt. And this action is our belief. It can be wrong, it can be right. It can be wrong, it can be right. But yes, one thing we can say with certainty that a doubt may, it's not always true, it may lead to a belief. Question number four, answer is E. If you don't have any doubts, then I'll move to the next one. Question number five. A candidate has applied for that. According to peers, it indicates what? If you have applied for that, you have taken an action. You have acted. Okay. You have taken an action. And what does your action show me? What does your action show me? Your action shows me that you believe, that you have belief, right? But can you say, can you say that if I have applied for that, I believe that that is a good test of ability? No, I have a belief. I have a belief in the application process, that is for sure. But can you say that I have a belief that it is a good test of ability? No. So I have taken an action, that means that I have a belief. If I have applied for that, that means I believe that that is good. Okay. Answer should be A for question number five. It is confusing. Yes, it is confusing. It is confusing. But what kind of a belief is this? If I go and buy, if I go and buy product A, that means I believe. Okay, I have a belief that product A is going to help me. Okay, it is what I need. That belief I have. But apart from that, product A is very good. Product A is average. Product A is excellent. I can't say all these things. I can't say from this information. Okay, so I think answer for this question should be A. Then we come to the next one. Which of the following words is the closest in meaning to dilettantism? This has to be guess. You are just involved in guesswork. Okay, this is nothing but dilettantism, non-seriousness. You are just, rather than talking about things based on facts and figures, you are guessing. Dilettantism. Root word of this word. Root word of this word means there is no root over here. Dilettante. Who is a dilettante? Okay, dilettante, please understand, this generally used for creative people, a person who indulges in art, who indulges in art in a non-serious way, in a non-serious way. Okay, without expertise. Who is a dilettante? A person who indulges in art in a non-serious way without expertise. So you must have heard of a word called dabbler. A dabbler. So who is a dilettante? Dilettante is a dabbler. For example, let us say I have some free time and I say to myself, okay, let me paint something. I just pick up a brush and I start painting, and then I leave it, and after 6 months again I get a craving. Okay, let me paint something. So I'm indulging in that activity in a non-serious way without much expertise. Okay, so it actually is used kind of negatively. This word is used negatively. So if somebody is saying that you are just a dilettante, that means you are a person without much expertise. You actually do things in a very superficial way. You don't have profound knowledge about something. This is how this word works. Okay. Okay. There was one more question from this passage. A person thinks. Okay, thinks. A person thinks that she or he has to keep awake for 24 hours in a day to score well in an examination, but is awake for only 15 hours. From the above statement, which of the following options will be right according to Pierce? I think B should be the answer. Number B, the person does not have a true belief. Because how do I come to know about your belief? Through your action. You think 20 hours is required, but you act 15 hours. Your action and your thoughts are different. If your action and your thoughts are different, that means you do not have a true belief. Because belief is when you act. How do we come to know what is your belief? It is manifested through your action. So we cannot comment about other things, but one thing is certain, that you do not have a true belief. You can think about something, but it is not what you believe. That is why you do not act. You thought 20 hours is required, but you are awake only for 15 hours. Answer for 7 should be B. Tell me, anybody has doubt? Anything you did not understand? Okay. Coming to 8 to 10. So 8 to 10 was not very difficult. Okay. We all know, we all know that we have consciousness. We all know about our feelings and experiences. We all know that we have something called consciousness. But the problem is we don't know why. Why do we have consciousness? Why do we have these feelings and experiences? We know that we have feelings and experiences, but the question is why. Okay. Now, if you look at modern techniques, what they do, they actually talk about physical processes. They say that there is a correlation. There is a correlation. There are certain parts of your brain, ventromedial hypothalamus. When there is stimulation, then you feel hunger. Okay. So, okay, there is correlation, but the problem is that you are only talking about physical things. You are telling me that yes, there is a correlation, but the question is why is there a correlation? So the question remains unanswered. The mystery is not that we have consciousness. The mystery is why do we have consciousness? So you just try to solve the problem by telling me that yes, we have these things. These things happen in our brain. When there is stimulation in your ventromedial hypothalamus, then you feel hungry. But the question still remains, why? Why is there stimulation? Okay. So no one has even the beginnings of an explanation of why some physical systems, such as the human brain, have experiences. So actually, this is the difficulty which is famously called as the hard problem of consciousness. So, so what is the hard problem of consciousness? Hard problem is not that we have feelings, we have sensations, but the question is why? We have hard problem. Why do we have consciousness? Why do we have these experiences? That question is still unanswered. Now, many materialists, they believe that you can answer this question when you use purely physical terms. But there has been a long history of failure. No matter how hard people have tried to explain why you experience things through physical terms, they have failed. Okay, So the problem with the materialists is that the moment they approach the hard problem, they always end up avoiding the issue by redefining what we mean by consciousness. They want to solve the hard problem. They want to solve the hard problem, but somewhere along the way, they start using the word consciousness to refer not to experiences, but to some complex behavioral functioning associated with experience. Okay, so what you are doing, you are just changing the subject. The hard problem of consciousness cannot be solved by changing the subject. In spite of all these failures, even though there have been so many failures, there are lots of scientists and philosophers who are optimistic that materialism will prevail. One day, materialism will answer the question why? Why do we have feelings? Why do we have consciousness? Okay, but but according to the author, this is not that will happen. So people have always tried to explain things by physical sciences. All through history, people have tried to explain things by physical sciences. They have tried to explain light, chemistry, life through physical sciences. But subsequently, they have been proven wrong. Subsequently, they have been proven wrong. So you cannot explain experiences through physical sciences. That is what he's trying to say. Physical sciences is different. It is different. Okay. Then he gives you an example of Galileo. Galileo assumed, okay, before Galileo, it was assumed that matter has sensory qualities. Okay. But the question is, if matter has sensory qualities, how can an equation capture the taste of a spicy paprika? Paprika is spicy, ये इसका sensory qualities है. But how will an equation capture it? And if sensory qualities cannot be captured, okay, and if sensory qualities cannot be captured in a mathematical vocabulary, it seems to follow that the mathematical vocabulary will never capture the complete nature of matter. So what was Galileo's solution? Galileo's solution was that, listen, you strip the sensory qualities. Why are you paying attention to the sensory qualities? You strip the sensory qualities. You pay attention to the soul and not the outward covering of senses. You pay attention to the mind. The smell, the sweet smell isn't really in the flowers. It is in the soul or mind of the person smelling it. Okay. And matter has no sensory quality. And because matter has no sensory qualities, it is not the matter which has sensory qualities, it is the human beings who are interacting with the matter who have sensory qualities. So the moment you realize that matter has no sensory qualities, it is possible in principle to describe the material world in purely quantitative vocabulary of mathematics. And this gave birth to mathematical physics. But yes, of course, Galileo never said that sensory qualities do not exist. He never denied the existence. But if you want to study matter, then you will have to take away the sensory qualities. You will have to remove the sensory qualities. You will have to remove the physicality if you want to study matter. But that does not mean that the physicality, does not exist or the sensory qualities do not exist. Now, if Galileo were to time travel to the present day, and if you were told that scientific materialists, they are having a problem explaining consciousness in purely physical terms, then what would Galileo say? Galileo will say, of course, I created physical science by taking consciousness out of the physical world. And what you are doing, you are trying to explain consciousness by involving the physical world. So I took out the physical world, and that is how I created physical science. But you, in order to understand consciousness, you are using physical science. You are using physical science to understand consciousness, whereas I did the opposite, and that is why you are not able to solve the question. This is what he is trying to say. Anything you did not understand, anything that requires clarification, please ask. Okay, based on this understanding, which of the following statements captures the essence of this paragraph? What is he trying to say? Author is trying to prove that you cannot solve this problem by materialism, by the physical sciences. Hard problem cannot be solved by materialism. Absolutely. This is what he's trying to prove. Okay, very good. If there are doubts, please stop me, okay? Number 9. I created physical science by taking consciousness out of the physical world. Which of the following options would most likely be an example of a hard problem? Okay, A and B to हो ही नहीं सकता because A and B are telling you about experiences. The question is, why do you experience? Experience क्यों करते हो? Now there are three of them which ask why. Okay, no, not even C, not even C. C actually asks what and not why. C asks the question. Uh, C asks the question what and not why. So immediately one ABC to care. ABC has gone because the hard problem is why do you have feelings? Why? And he's telling you that you have to take out the physical science. Physicality remove karo. Remove the physicality. Okay. Now the why question is in D and E, but in number D, a physicality is involved. Why do we prostrate in front of a deity? Why do we prostrate in front of a deity? That means why do we physically lie down straight on the ground in front of a deity? So over here, it is physical. It is physical. But number E is not physical. It is a general question. Why do humans take birth? I'm not talking about a physical entity taking birth or one person taking birth. I'm talking about humans in general taking birth. So there is no physicality involved. That is why E is the answer. Did you understand? Please take a look. Did you understand why E is the answer? A, B, and C cannot be the answer because they are not asking the question why. The hard problem is why. Why do you experience something? And he tells you that you have to take consciousness out of the physical world. Only B and E ask the question why. Out of these, number D is physical. Number E is not physical. So in number E, you are taking out consciousness out of the physical world. That is why E is the answer for question number 9. Okay, good. Coming to 10, which of the following statements can be inferred from this passage? What can we infer? I think D, we can infer that science and consciousness, they are two different domains. That is what he's trying to say. You cannot probably explain consciousness through science. That is the best that we can infer. Other options are too extreme or they are too vague. Question number 10, I think answer should be D. 11 to 13. Question number 11 to question number 13. What does he tell you? He tells you that labor and capital, they are the opposite poles of a capitalist society. Even though they are opposites, but please understand, even though they seem to be opposite, capital is labor. How is capital labor? Capital मतलब क्या होता है? Money. Capital means money that you have. Money is nothing but labor. Why is he saying that? Why is he saying that? Because why is saying capital is labor? Because it is labor that has performed in the past. It is the objectified product of preceding phases of cycle of production, which becomes capital only through appropriation by the capitalist and its use in the accumulation of more capital. So how is capital labor? Money is labor because how did you earn this money? Why is capital or money labor? Because how do you earn the money? You involve capital. Okay, sorry, you involve labor. Labor, you make the labor work, and whatever these labors work, you actually make money from this. You make money from the labor. So in that sense, money or capital is labor because this money has come from the labor. You have appropriated it. You have not distributed the profits to the labor. You just give them a fixed amount and everything else you keep for yourself, all the profits. And this capital, this money you use to make, you actually use it to accumulate more capital. So in this sense, capital is labor. Did you understand? In what sense capital is labor? Okay. So he tells us, now he tells you, as living labor, as living labor, living labor which is purchased by the capitalist to set the production process into motion. The opposite is also true. Labor is capital. Yes or no? Just like capital is labor, capital, what is capital? It is the money that you earn when you ask labor to work. When the labor works, then it produces something. What it produces, you sell it, and through this, you make capital. Through this, you make money. So, capital is labor because it is the labor that you sell. Okay, and in a similar way, labor is capital. Why is labor capital? Because labor is purchased. It is labor which is purchased by the capitalist. Okay, the portion of money capital which is set aside for payment of labor, the portion in which in each cycle is converted into living labor. Okay, it is the portion of capital which stands for and corresponds to the working population and upon which the latter subsists. So just like capital is labor, labor is capital. Labor is nothing but it is capital. It is the money that is used by the factory owners to pay the salaries or the money to the working population, and it is this money which the working population uses to subsist. It is this money that is used for them to to live their lives. So in a sense, working class is nothing but raw material for exploitation. The labor is not paid the profits; they are just given a part of capital. Capital का एक part मिलता है उनको. They actually are not given profits. So they are exploited. They are exploited. Even though this working class lives a social and political existence of its own, which is outside the direct grip of capital, but the reality is that no matter how much it may protest and submit, how much it may rebel or integrate, but the fact of the matter is, in its permanent existence, it is a living part of capital. Okay, it is a living part of capital, and because it is a living part of capital, its life is determined by the ongoing processes of the accumulation of capital. That means if all industries close, let us say all the industries, all the capitalists, सारे industries को close कर देते हैं, will the labor be able to survive? No. Even though they have an existence of their own, but will they be able to survive? No. So they are in the grip of ongoing processes of accumulation of labor. And these industries, they exploit labor, they use labor, they seize, they release, they flung it into various parts of the social machinery. So labor is used and misused and exploited by others. Labor does not act according to its own will or self-activity. Labor acts according to the movement of capital. Wherever the capital moves, labor moves, because that is how the labor survives. Even though written in a very convoluted way, it is very, very simple to understand. Capital is labor and labor is capital. Very simple. And capital, even though capital is labor and labor is capital, it is always capital that has an upper hand. It is always capital that has an upper hand because labor does not have kind of a free will. It's not. It is not able to exert its free will. That is what he's trying to prove to us. Based on this understanding, question number 11, while labor is capital, it is poles apart from each other because even though labor is capital, why are they very different? Because the will of capital overpowers the will of labor. That is the biggest distinction between capital and labor. This is this is very important that the will of the capital overpowers the will of the labor. This is the huge difference between labor and capital. Did you understand this? Are things clearer now after the explanation? Number 12. According to the passage, what does the working class subsist on? The working class, what does it subsist on? It subsists on the labor purchased by the capitalist. Whatever labor is purchased by the capitalist, that is given in the form of wages, and it is the wages on which the working class subsists. Okay? So it is number E, living labor, which is purchased by the capitalist. Because the capitalist purchases the labor, and that is why the capitalist runs the working class. That is how they exploit it. Number 13. Which of the following statements will be true according to this passage? What will be true? I think number D, the pursuit of capital accumulation results in the exploitation of the working class. This is absolutely true. Probably no exploitation would happen if no capital accumulation happened. Because we want to accumulate capital, that is why we exploit the working class. Okay? Number B may not always be right. When the working class is converted into capital, it is exploited by the bourgeois. This is not true. This is not true. Anshita. ये कहाँ बोला है that when the working class it gets converted into capital, it is exploited by the bourgeois. I think it was mentioned over here somewhere. Okay, labor can sometimes rebel or it can get integrated into the bourgeois society. The only thing that we know about the bourgeois society is that sometimes some people, some laborers, they get integrated into the bourgeois society. That means they become just like the people in the bourgeois society, but that does not mean that they're exploited. They can rebel or they can integrate. Both can happen. So no, number B will not work. Okay. Question number 14. Question number 14. Number 14. What do you think? I think answer for this question should be A. C1452. C1452. Scientifically, hyperspace theory goes by the names of Kaluza-Klein theory and supergravity. That is what scientifically happens. Okay, but But its most advanced formulation is actually called the superstring theory, which even predicts the precise number of dimensions, that is 10. The superstring theory tells us that there are 10 dimensions. The usual three dimensions of space, length, width, and breadth, and one of time, they are now extended by six more spatial dimensions. So earlier there were four, now there are 10. Six more are there now. Okay. Now because this is a theory on hyperspace, that is why he tells you that okay, we need to be cautious. We caution that the theory is not yet experimentally confirmed, and it would in fact be exceedingly difficult to prove it in the laboratory. That we have to be cautious about. But even though the theory is not confirmed, however, the theory has already swept across the major physics research laboratories of the world, and it has irrevocably altered the scientific landscape of modern physics. So I think it perfectly works. 31452 works perfectly. Number two, 5 and 2 have to come together. 5 and 2 have to come together because 5 tells you that it is, even though it has not been confirmed, number 2 says that even though it has not been confirmed, it is being used. We know that. Okay. And then 3 and 1 also have to come together. 3 and 1 have to come together. They are mandatory pairs. Answer should be A for question number 14. Please take a look. 15. Number 15. What do you think? Yeah, I also think answer should be C. Answer should be C. Yes, all of you marked C. The victims were people. Okay, they were people. By definition, yes, the victims are dead. We know that. They are dead. They are unable to defend themselves. And that is why it is very easy to sanctify policies or identities by the deaths of the victims. बहुत आसान है. However, it is less appealing to understand the actions of the perpetrators. Okay? So the moral danger is never that one might become a victim, but that one might become a perpetrator or a bystander. Absolutely. I think this is the perfect arrangement of all the sentences. Should be 35214. It should be 35214, but if you have any problem, please ask. Is it clear? Should I move to the next question? Number 16. Now RT is planning for higher studies, and her future goal is to work as a manager of a non-profit organization. She wants to provide assistance to the underrepresented population. So there are two colleges, College X, the fee is 8 lakhs, and College X produces compassionate and curious leaders. College Y, the fee is 9 lakhs per year, and College Y says that we are a leading research facility. Now, RT, she conducted her research, and after that, she decided to apply in College X and not in College Y. So, why do you think RT applied in College X? What can be the explanation? Very good. No, answer should be B. D kaise? Oh, sorry. Number B. No, no, not number B. Answer should be D. Yes, D, not B. Sorry. Yes, we can say that students apply to those colleges whose mission statements align with their goals. Why? College X tells us that we produce compassionate and curious leaders. And RT wants to work in a non-profit organization. She wants to assist underrepresented people. For this, you need compassion. That is her goal. Okay. So the reason why RT must have joined College X is that she believes that if the mission statement of the college it matches or to a large extent matches my goals, then I would be, it will actually help me get to my goals. That is why she must have selected college X. Answer should be D. Okay, the problem is you are saying that students apply to smaller colleges that offer more personalized attention from professors. Yes, X is a smaller college, but how do we know that it is going to provide more personalized attention? Can't say. Just because the college is smaller, is it necessary that it will provide a specialized for or personalized attention? That is not always true. Okay. Okay. Coming to question number 17. Please read the following statements. The payoff. The moment he uses the word payoff, you always calculate payoff when you make an investment. Okay. Payoff का मतलब आपने investment किया है. It's not just any expenditure. It has to be an investment. So your answer is either D or E. Your answer is either D or E. And when you analyze, you'll find that it is D. The payoff from the investment in education, it is so slow and erratic that it is almost useless as a predictor of economic change over a 5 to 10 year period. Okay, everything else is same, but in number E, the word predictable makes it wrong. If it is predictable, then why is it irrelevant as a predictor of economic change? Answer for number 17 is D for Delhi. Okay, number 18. Question number 18. Fill in the blanks. The Lannisters had dash gold. Can you count gold? Is gold countable? One gold, two gold, three gold, four gold? It's not countable. That means you cannot use the word fewer. You will have to use the word less. The word fewer, नहीं fewer तो हो ही नहीं सकता. I think I've told you that the word few is only used for countable things. ये हमने कई बार discuss किया है. And the word less is used for uncountable things. Can you count gold? Can you count gold? Can you count one gold, two gold, three gold, five, four gold? Give me 10 gold. Can you say that? Or you can't. That means gold is uncountable. Which means that your answer is either A or it is C. Your answer is either A or C. Fewer तो हो ही नहीं सकता. It's not possible. So the Lannisters had less gold than the Tyrrells until the Lannister army sacked Highgarden and took the Tyrrell fortune to pay back the Iron Bank. On the other hand, the Northern army has fewer. This has to be fewer because how many men are there? 10,000. They are countable. So both the options have fewer. They have fewer men, and therefore John needs to bend the knee to Daenerys. What happens in the story next is dependent on George R. R. Martin, the writer of the series. For some time means some period. You need a word which means for some period, and that is some time. Okay, what is the difference? Some time means for some period, for some period, he has not written anything further. And we hope George R. Martin will get around to finishing this book sometime. Sometime means kabhi. Kabhi. Kabhi means eventually. But as it happens, sometimes, sometimes means frequently, frequently book releases are delayed. That is why answer for this question will be A and not C. Did you understand? All of you, why A is the answer? Number 19. Question number 19. Which of the following sentences is correct and meaningful usage? I think answer for this question is C. Vikram's approach was different, right? But he had expected no criticism from her. So his approach was different, but he had expected no criticism. I think this is the best one. If there is anything else, number B cannot work. He hadn't. Hadn't means had not. He had not. When you have already used the word not, then you cannot have another no here. So all these answers, A जिसमें hadn't है, B जिसमें hadn't है, in B also it has hadn't. Hadn't means it already has the word not. So if it already has the word not, you cannot have no. Otherwise, there are going to be two negatives. Number E is also wrong because if it is different, then how can you use the word and? So answer for 19 is C. Coming to question number 20 and 21. 20 and 21, this poem, what is it telling you? It is telling you about love. It is telling you that if you live in this world and you do not wear the shirt of love, then you are living in deep disgrace. Your life is disgraceful. Because as love is all there is. Life और क्या है? Life is nothing but love. Okay? But the question is, what is love? Then what will you answer? Love means you dissolve your will. True freedom will come when you have escaped the question of free will and fate. अपने आप को dissolve कर दो. Love is just like an emperor. It conquers everything. Okay? Remember, love is an emperor. The two worlds play across him. The two worlds means this physical world, and after you leave this world, after death also love is going to be there. Because love and lover, they live in eternity. They live in eternity. So don't love the body. What you need to do is don't love the body. Love the soul. You cannot hold the soul. So what is pure love? What is true love? It is when you give up your free will, when you give up your will, your fate, when you stop loving bodies, when you start loving souls. Because anything that is born will die, but love is not seasonal. Okay, love is not seasonal. When you make wine, then you can expect a hangover. But when you are on the path of love, don't expect anything. No expectations will be there. Don't have any expectations. Okay. So if you are uneasy riding the body, means if you do not want to love the body, then dismount, travel lighter, wings will be given. At least stop loving the body, start loving the soul. You will feel lighter. It will be as if you will start flying. Okay? You have to be clear, you have to be clean. बिल्कुल purity चाहिए. Clean and clear होना पड़ेगा. You have to gaze into what is not ashamed or afraid of any truth. Don't hold back anything. Don't hold back. Don't have any secrets. Don't hold back anything. Just be like a clean slate. Just be like a clean slate. Be empty. बिल्कुल empty रहो वहां पर. If somebody asks you what is inside you, okay, what will you say? Silence. It's emptiness. And what will you say? Lovers have some secrets that they keep. What is the secret? The secret is that there is nothing. It's empty. It's pure. So what exactly do lovers have inside them? The secret is that they don't have anything. They have let go of everything. Everything is pure emptiness. It's clear. This is what love does, according to this poem. Okay, did you understand? Not very difficult to understand. Based on this, he's asking you the question. You are unable to attempt the poems. Okay, then you can leave it, Anshita. If you're not comfortable, then leave it. However, this one was easy. This one was easy. Okay, but you always have a choice. If you are not comfortable with something, I think you can leave it. So, how are the words free will, fate, and will used in the poem? How? All these words are opposites of love. I think that is what he wants to say. All these are opposites of love. If you are in love, you will have to give up free will and fate and a will. These are opposites. These are opposites, right? This is question number 20. Question number 21. Number 21, which of the following is the closest interpretation of lovers have some secrets that they keep? The secret is that you don't have any secret. It's pure emptiness. There's nothingness. So the closest interpretation is that the secret is not to have any secret. The secret is not to have any secret. Did you understand? Okay, good. Yes, this was very easy. Yeah. Now coming to number 22. Critical reasoning. This one also was very easy. Okay. Ocean waves. No, E is not the answer. Size of the ocean waves depends on velocity of wind and fetch. Okay. So ocean waves depend on velocity of wind and fetch. Very simple. Okay. Then he says the length of the surface of the water subject to those winds. So what is fetch? Fetch is the length of surface. Now, how much impact there will be on a coastline? How much impact there will be on the coastline of a wave? That depends on size of wave. Okay, size of wave, ocean wave. What is the size of ocean wave? Plus plus shape of sea bottom. Okay, how much erosion you will have? What does erosion depend on? Erosion will depend on, just a minute, there is no space here. Erosion. Erosion is a function of impact of waves and composition of coastline. Erosion is coastline and impact of waves. Waves. Okay. So what does this tell us? From here, what is something that we can 100% say with certainty? What can you say? That the degree of erosion on coastline, it is related. It it is related to shape of the sea bottom. Is that what you can say? Yes or no? Yes. Oh, you had marked E. E is the answer. Damini, right. I think I told you this is wrong. Yes, but I read it properly. The degree of erosion on the coastline is related to the shape of sea bottom because erosion depends on coastline and waves of the ocean. And waves of the ocean and coastline, they are a function of sea bottom. So indirectly, erosion depends on the shape of the sea bottom. Yes, number E will be the answer. Absolutely, number E will be the answer for question number 22. Okay, you are right, Damini. I think others have not solved this question. You have not solved. Yeah, but this was easy. Easy था. This was easy. This was doable. आसान था बहुत ही. Okay. 23. This one also was easy. What does it tell you? Okay, you read velocity. Okay, fine. If you're not comfortable, you can leave it. What does 23 tell you? 23 tells you that Indian religious and ethical space is different from that of Western countries. How is it different? How is it different? He tells you that when you look at the details of treatment of human values and dharmas, there is a long tradition in the in the Indian religious and ethical space. We talk about human values, we talk about dharmas, and we have been talking about them for a long time. Then he gives you examples. ये पूरा examples देता है, but all these examples are immaterial. The crux is that in Indian religious and ethical space, there has been a long tradition of human values and dharmas, and this is what makes it different from the Western countries. It gives you an example how we have treated human values, how we have treated dharmas, how different people have done what. But all those are just examples. वो तो बस examples ही हैं. They are not important. If I want to, if I want to make this passage redundant, if I want to make it redundant means if I want to disprove this author, whatever he is saying, if I want to prove him wrong, what will I do? What should I say? Number E. I should say that listen, not just Indian, Western ethical and religious space also has a long tradition of treatment of human values and dharma. You were saying that you were saying that all these things are you find in Indian ethical space, and that is what makes Indian ethical space different. But the moment I say that all these things are also found in the Western ethical space, then your entire paragraph is redundant. Everything that you are saying it becomes redundant. Yes or no? Very simple. Very, very simple. Okay. 24. This one also was easy. Manager wants approval for conducting a training program on openness. He puts forward the arguments in favor of the program to his CEO. Which of the argument is least likely to have a logical fallacy? Which one is least likely to have a logical fallacy? Which one is most suitable argument? Question is, which one is most suitable argument? Yes, number C. If you say that there have been studies which tell us that openness increases innovation. If openness increases innovation, then immediately the CEO will say, fine, you have this program. ये program कर लो. Yes or no? Answer should be C. Yes, you read it opposite. Which is least likely to have a fallacy? Answer is C and not B. Okay, if this is clear, 25. Second last question for today. What does he tell you? He says that music does something interesting. It stimulates the brain in a very powerful way. Unlike brain games, when you play an instrument, it is a very rich and complex experience because what is your brain doing? Your brain integrates information from senses like vision, hearing, and touch, along with fine movements. And this all can lead to long lasting changes in the brain. It can be applied in the business world as well. Okay. So, what does music do? Unlike brain games, in music, you integrate information from different senses. So if we go through these four statements, he's asking you which of the following statements can definitely be interpreted based on the passage above. What can you definitely interpret? Let's see. Can you interpret that playing a music is a unique experience which involves vision, hearing, and touch? No. Is it a unique experience? Probably you can have this experience by doing something else as well. He never says that this is the only way in which you involve vision, hearing, and touch. It is one of the ways. It is one of the ways. So number one is wrong. Instrumental vocalists are far more creative than vocalists. Can't say anything. We don't know anything about vocalists, so we can't say anything. Playing brain games does not integrate various senses and movements as much as playing a musical instrument. Yes, this is what he told you over here. Absolutely, number three is right. This can be definitely concluded. And number four, integrating the five senses is critical in the business world. Again, it can be applicable, does not mean it is critical. So this is also wrong. Number four is also wrong. Only number three is right. If number three is right only, that means our answer is C, not D, Mridula. It is C. Okay? Did you understand why? We are in no rush. Did you understand everything? Okay, if you have any doubt in any question, please ask. This is the last question, but after I have explained, you got it. Fine, fine. Now, what does he tell you? Now, this last fill in the blank, though he thought of himself as a and dash person, his boss's abusive behavior made him talk back. So even though generally he remains calm, but his boss's behavior was such that he talked back. We need a word which means calm. Okay. Insouciant का मतलब होता है indifferent. Insouciant means indifferent. You are careless, indifferent. You don't pay attention. Okay. Now, nonchalant. Nonchalant means you are calm and undisturbed. You are calm and undisturbed. So this nonchalant does not have a negative connotation. Insouciant definitely has a negative connotation. And over here, we need a word which is not negative. Negative nahi hai. So it is certain that we need nonchalant and not insouciant. Okay? We need nonchalant and we don't need insouciant. That is certain. So our answer is either A or B. Our answer is either A or B because in the first blank we need nonchalant. So though he thought of himself as a nonchalant person, his boss's abusive behavior made him talk back. However, as he engaged in a dash with his boss. Now in the second blank, you cannot have the word ennui because ennui, the word written as NY, it's pronounced as ennui. What is the meaning? It means boredom. There's a feeling of ennui in the classroom. There's a feeling of boredom in the classroom. So ennui means boredom. So how can he engage in boredom with his boss? That's not possible. How can he engage in boredom with his boss? He will be engaged in a remonstration. Remonstration means what? Objection. He is objecting. He is objecting. He is actually raising his voice against the boss. He's remonstrating, he's objecting, he's telling his boss that, listen, you cannot talk to me like this. So when he was engaged with in a remonstration with his boss, all he got in response was a philippic. What is philippic? Criticism. Philippic is a speech of criticism or criticism. Philippic. So rather than listening to him, the boss, in response to his demonstration, in response to his objection, his boss started criticizing him, which only filled him with ennui. Because of the boss's criticism, because boss was not ready to listen to him, this man became bored, ennui. There were feelings of ennui. Even though it does not make a lot of logical sense, but still, the best answer is A. When somebody is criticizing you, you start feeling boredom. I don't know. But still, the answer is A. Okay? Did you understand? So please go through all these questions. Please go through all these questions. If there is anything you did not understand, anything that requires clarification, please ask. Okay, so I will take it that everything is clear. Okay, fine. In that case, from where can we practice critical reasoning? GMAT official guide. GMAT official guide. Okay, if you search for GMAT official guide, you will get some PDFs online, so you can practice from there. Right. So we'll bring this session to a close. Take care, all of you, and schedule. No, I think there is no other session today. No, there is no other session today. Schedule for the next week will be uploaded by tomorrow morning. Yes, tomorrow we will have a decision making class. Decision making will continue. Yes, and this week we will have toward in the morning we will have um, um, we will solve past papers as well, because we thought that in one day we will solve two verbal papers and two quant papers, but it is taking us too long to solve one paper, almost 3 hours. So it will not be practical. Next week snap hai. Yes, Anshita, if next week you have snap, that is why I'm saying in the coming weekdays, in the weekdays in the morning we can have verbal sessions. In the mornings, what time? I'm not sure as of now. I'm not sure as of now. So what we'll do is that we will practice on previous year papers in the morning. We may practice, and in the evening we will have decision making sessions. Okay. Okay. So take care, all of you.
Music.